Friday 5-minute focus on this beautiful Friday in the month of March. And this morning, I want to give to you from the book of beginnings, the book of Genesis. The second and third chapter is kind of where I want to take context from. And it speaks of God creating the Garden of Eden, placing Adam there, giving instruction, and then in the middle of the garden, in the midst of the garden, there is the tree of knowledge of good and evil. And this is how the scene opens in Genesis, the third chapter. It says, and the serpent was the most subtle, he was crafty. Serpent, he was very wise. And he approached Eve after God had given Adam the instruction. And he had asked Eve to really partake in that tree. And that's what I want to talk about today. I want to talk just for a few minutes from the thought of watch what you eat. I want you to hear me very well. Watch what you eat. We live in a day and age today that there are so many theologies, there are so many approaches, and those that are attempting to give things that are inaccurate. They are so short of what they should be. And so I want to encourage you to watch what you eat. God gives Adam charge of this garden, and he says to him, now listen, I've given you all of these other trees, but the tree that is in the midst of the garden, you should not eat of that. Don't eat of it. And God says, lest ye die, lest ye die. Somewhere in between what God told Adam and Adam being blessed with his rib, his sidekick, his woman, his rib, there was a miscommunication because the serpent did not come to the man who received the instruction from God. He went to the woman. And a lot of people approach this and say, you know, the man, he's at fault. Yes, he is at great fault. But then others that say the woman. But listen, it's not the woman, because the woman was created for the man, and the man was given the instruction. And obviously, the serpent wanted to mess up everything. So he went to the woman, and he says, he asked the question, do you think you really can eat of that? And she responds, we can eat of any tree in this garden, but we cannot eat of the tree, hear me well, in the midst of the garden, or touch it, or we will surely die. Or we will surely die. Now watch this. The enemy repeats pretty closely what God says, because he says, oh, you won't surely die. But he knows that death is impending. There is some things that you will lose. And that's why I want to drive right there. I want you to know you need to be careful on Facebook, in person, listening to people that have a little piece of the truth and not all of the truth. It's very dangerous, beloved, to just take what a person says and bank on it and rely on it and depend on it and not read it for yourself. Even when I share things, you ought to take the chapter, the book, the verse, and look at it and see what it is, because a lot of times we eat what we receive, and it gives us spiritual food poisoning. It gives us spiritual malnutrition because we receive, but we won't read for ourselves. I want to tell you on this Friday, it's not going to be a popular word, but I want to tell you, be careful what you read on Facebook. Be careful what you take to heart. Be careful what you process in your mind. Be careful of how you believe things to be true. Be careful what you take to the bank about what others say, whether they be bishops or prophets or apostles or pastors or preachers or evangelists or missionaries. Be careful what you take, because it could cause some pain and discomfort down the road. Eve ate of that fruit because the enemy confused her with a few changing of a few words. And it changed the trajectory of life as we knew it. I already shared with you that I know it's not going to be popular, but I want to just leave that in your spirit. Today and from now on, I don't care how close you are. I don't care how accurate they have been. Be careful. Read for yourself. Study for yourself. You'll appreciate this later on. And I'll say it again. Watch what you eat. Satan sold her a philosophy. God was trying to give us power. If this 5-minute focus has been a blessing to you, you know what to do. Sow a seed. For no person can ever receive a harvest until they first plant the seed. Be blessed.